The Cabin in the Rain. Bedtime mystery story. Calming but slightly spooky. On a rainy evening, under a pale shimmering moon, a man named Elian walked slowly along a narrow path deep into a silent forest. He did not know this place. He only wanted shelter from the cold rain, and the quiet trees around him felt like they were listening to every step he took. Rain poured down steadily, raindrops tapping, whispering, echoing. The cool wind slipped through his coat, making him shiver. Yet with every step, his heartbeat slowly calmed. Through the curtain of falling rain, Elian noticed something unusual ahead. A small abandoned wooden cabin, old and forgotten, hidden between the dark trees. The roof sagged with age, ivy wrapped around the walls. But strangely, a warm light glowed from inside the window. Elian frowned. Why would an abandoned cabin have a light on? The rain grew heavier, so he walked closer. The forest seemed to watch him quietly, the wet leaves glistening in the dim light. The smell of rain-soaked wood and earth wrapped around him when he reached the door. The old wooden door slowly opened on its own with a long creak. Crack! The warm light inside flickered softly, inviting him in. Elian stepped inside. His wet boots echoed on the wooden floor. Cobwebs hung from the ceiling, and the furniture looked untouched for many years. A single lantern on the table flickered, casting long shadows that moved with the wind. Suddenly, he heard a faint voice from upstairs. Elian? He froze. Who's there? He called. No answer, just the whispering rain against the window. Elian felt a strange mixture of fear and curiosity. Slowly, he began climbing the dusty stairs. Each step creaked under his weight. When he reached the top, he saw a woman standing at the end of the hall. She wore a long, faded dress. Her hair floated slightly, as if touched by a wind that wasn't there. Her figure looked real, and yet not fully solid. A ghost, but she didn't feel threatening. Elian whispered, "Why are you here?" The woman gave a gentle, sad smile. Her voice floated like a distant breeze. "I haven't been able to leave this place. I've been waiting for someone who would listen." Elian stood still as she continued. She told him her story, how she once lived in this cabin with her family, how a great flood took them away, leaving her behind. Her spirit remained trapped, unable to rest, because no one had ever heard her final sorrow. Elian listened quietly as the rain softened outside, as if the sky itself was calming. When she finished, he spoke softly. "You can rest now. I'll remember your story." The ghost smiled, warm, peaceful, grateful. Her form slowly dissolved into shimmering light, drifting away like mist carried by the breeze. The cabin fell silent. The lantern's light faded. The air felt lighter, softer. Freed. Elian stepped outside. The door closed gently behind him, on its own. The cabin, once glowing with mysterious light, now looked dark and abandoned again. But to Elian, it was no longer an empty place. It was a place where someone finally found peace. Story 2. The Lantern Girl by the River, 15-minute bedtime mystery story. Gentle, emotional, and slightly spooky. On a quiet, foggy night, the moon hung low over a silent forest river. The water flowed slowly, almost whispering to itself. A soft mist drifted along the river bank like a white blanket. A traveler named Rowan walked alone along the path, his lantern glowing faintly in the cold air. He had been on the road all day and hoped to find a place to rest. As he followed the curve of the river, he noticed something strange. A small golden light flickered in the distance. Not the moon, not his lantern, something else. Curious, he walked closer, and then he saw her, a young girl no older than 12, sitting on a stone near the river. She held a glowing lantern in her hands, the warm light reflecting off the water. Her dress was old-fashioned, white and flowing, and her feet were bare, lightly touching the wet grass. But what made Rowan stop was this. The girl had no shadow. The lantern glowed. The moon glowed. But no shadow fell behind her. Rowan whispered, "Are you all right? Why are you out here alone?" The girl turned her head slowly. Her voice was soft, almost like the wind. "I'm waiting." "Waiting for who?" Rowan asked. She looked down at the water with sad eyes. "For someone who promised to come back." Rowan sat beside her carefully. The river made no sound now, as if listening. The girl continued, "A long time ago I crossed this river with my brother, but the water was rough that night. He told me to wait on the other side while he went back for something we dropped. He promised he would return." Her voice trembled like a candle flame, but he never did. Rowan felt a shiver, not from fear, but from sorrow. "What happened to him?" he asked gently. She looked at him, eyes glowing softly with the lantern light. "I never found out, so I stayed here, waiting, year after year, night after night." Rowan felt the truth settling over him. She wasn't alive. She had been waiting for decades, perhaps longer. He placed his lantern on the ground and spoke with warmth. "Maybe he couldn't come back, but that doesn't mean you must wait forever." The girl hugged her lantern tightly. "He said he would come back for me." Rowan smiled softly. "Then let me give you his final message." He paused, letting the silence settle. "He would want you to rest. He would not want you trapped here alone." The glow inside the girl's lantern flickered. Her face softened, sadness turning into peace. Rowan added quietly, "You are not forgotten. You can cross the river now. You can go where you belong." The girl slowly stood up. The air around her shimmered. Mist rose gently from the water as though welcoming her. She whispered, "Thank you for seeing me." And then with the softest glow, she stepped toward the river. Her lantern brightened into a warm golden light, and then slowly faded and faded until only the moon was left shining. Rowan bowed his head, feeling the night grow peaceful again. The mist thinned. The river whispered calmly. He picked up his lantern and continued his journey, knowing he had helped a lost soul finally find her way home.